Well, hello everybody. It's been forever since we've talked Night Gallery, but here we go. Let's do the intro and get started.
Is it just me? Or is it getting crazier out there?
Hey everybody, welcome to the Late Late Horror Show. I am Dino and I am growing a beard to become Santa Claus for the holidays. No, I'm going to be shaving this tonight. But I am very, woodsman kind of feel tonight. But hello everybody. It's been forever since I've talked Night Gallery and I can't wait to do it. Um as always, I am Dino and we talk about everything here on this channel. But let me say hello to everybody. Hey, sweet Indigo. And let me tell you, this Night Gallery episode, what the heck is going on? This was a truly tripped out segment of Night Gallery, and I can't wait to talk about it. It was really, really good, really, really interesting, especially the last one, which I got to talk about that too, because it was kind of a little messed up on how they had it. And I have to fix the thumbnail and everything else. But make sure you guys hit the thumbs up. I know it's been sitting there for, 9 months or so. So we got a lot of thumbs up already. But good to see you. Hey, Nathan, what is going on? Lizzie, what's going on? Good to see you. Sweet Indigo, JLR, Edward Stewart, what is going on? Good to see you. Andrea Black. Who else is here? I don't want to miss anybody. Let me go up. WTF Horror and Sci-Fi was here. Tune the News. Good to see each and every one of you guys here tonight. And as usual, much love to each and every one of you. I got my ginger ale here. Don't forget me and Dave tomorrow night. Going to be a great show. I am going to start doing Saturdays and hitting Night Gallery, Outer Limits, and who the heck knows what else I could possibly be doing. But let's see, Mr. Ed, what is going on? Dino and Dave, you guys rock. Oh no, not tonight. Just Dino. Me and Dave tomorrow. But I'm in the middle of painting. Go paint. Go paint. Hey, Ron Eastman, what's going on? My favorite show as a child. You have made my week for sure. Thanks very much. Well, again, we're just talking about it. It's a discussion. I'm not showing the episode. Just can't do that. But let me tell you guys. At first, I put Witch's Feast as the last episode or segment of this episode that we'll be talking about. But it ended up being a different segment. It's called Satisfaction Guarenteed, 1972. This is originally Witch's Feast was the final segment for this episode, which aired September 22nd, 1971. In a repeat broadcast, the segment was replaced by Satisfaction Guaranteed. So if you didn't see it when it originally aired with Witch's Feast, on repeat, it ended up being Satisfaction Guaranteed. I'm not sure why. But in addition, the season 2 DVD release of Night Gallery has the repeat broadcast of the episode, not the original. I didn't know this until I started watching this today, so I have to go and find Witch's Feast. I need to see it. But let me tell you, Satisfaction Guaranteed, we will talk about it, but what a trip. It's one of the short segments. There's 2 segments in here that are short ones, like, oh my God, the Merciful. It's like literally 4 minutes. I love talking about these ones when I discuss these episodes, and we're actually at about 8 episodes in or so, and I had to change this to season 2, episode 2. It's not easy to find these episodes, so the episodes I found were interpreted and all wrong and everything. And we get Vincent Price in Class of '99 too. Kind of a dystopian, futuristic kind of episode, like kind of in the vein of Clockwork Orange, somewhat. It is very interesting, that's for sure. Ezra Carter, what is going on? Hey, everybody! Just finished filming for the day. I'm in my trailer, chilling with y'all. Nice drink, nice. Hey, Night Fright Talk Show. Mona Martin. Mona Martin is in the house. Hey, Mona. Good to see you. Good to have you. Always good to have new people coming in the chat. But yeah, let me start talking about this. This is most definitely interesting. And we get in the first segment, which is a death in the family, we get E.G. Marshall, none other than CBS Radio Mystery Theater fame, for hosting that old-time-ish kind of radio show. Hey, listen, it broadcasted late 70s and early 80s, but he's still the host, and I do love his toupee in this episode. But a death in the family is it's a very interesting segment for sure. And you got E.G. Marshall, who is Jared Solms, whatever. He owns a funeral home, takes care of the deceased, the people who come in dead, you know. Got a big heart, E.G. Marshall. We also get Desi Arnaz Jr., who plays Doran, who is an ex-convict who escaped and got shot evidently and is bleeding, and he's on the run during a rainstorm and all that, which we'll talk about. So that's very cool. And then that's really it. Those two people. You get some state troopers and stuff like that come in. But yeah, let me see. Love the Satisfaction Guarenteed. Edward Stewart, Satisfaction Guarenteed. It's the last one we'll talk about, but it is so funny. You're not expecting what ends up happening, at the end, but we'll talk about that. But I like how Rod Serling, when he shows the picture, the painting, he pretty much says it's like an American Gothic, tombstones and tears, and it's about this character, E.G. Marshall, Jared Solms, who is a lonely man. He's an elderly man, but he's a lonely man, and he speaks of his first 16 years of being in an orphanage, and I guess the rest of his life pretty much, they don't dive into it too much, but I guess, he ends up being kind of, a lonely man who runs this. I mean, he's got a huge estate. This funeral home is beautiful. Very, very cool. And it's sad, he's all by himself. Hey, WTF, what's going on? Sailor Sam, Love Night Gallery. My favorite episode was the very first part of the pilot, The Cemetery. Lots of good ones. Hey, Connie. Yeah, no worries. It's been a long time since I've done one of these, so getting back into it. That's for sure. I love how the episode opens up though with this silver hearse, this giant, awesome looking car, all metallic. It's a tin. It's a tin box. No, but it looks very, very cool. I like sometimes these morbid looking. If you're into horror, you like this kind of stuff. But it's a silverish hearse, and it looks pretty darn cool. I like it. I'd drive around in that in Halloween. Big fan of Rod Serling, aren't we all? And you know what? In this episode, really takes a weird spin on things. A couple of these segments, especially Class of '99. I can't wait to talk about that. But E.G. Marshall, again, the people bring this body in. This body is Simon Kepler is his name. Simon Kotner is his name. He's an 81-year-old man, and they say they're basically going back and forth, E.G. Marshall and the two people who brought the dead body, and they're basically saying, listen, this is a charity case. He's going to be buried in the charity part of the cemetery, or wherever. What did they used to call that? There was a law in the books where, if nobody could claim the body, or there was no relatives or family left, they would put them in a certain plot. Oh my God, what was the name of the area that they would put them in? But there was a section for these people, like the state or the county, or however it would work, would pay for that little plot, and it wouldn't really it would just get a marker. No gravestone, nothing fantastic, no flowers, no funeral, nothing like that. Just bury him. And E.G. Marshall was talking about Pottersfield. Thank you, Sailor Sam. There was an episode of All in the Family that Archie, his one of his family members who teased him all the time growing up, sat on his face. He told him would he hated the guy, but he was staying with them and living up in the attic, and he died up there. And Archie Bunker said, "There's no way I, want to pay $600 for all of this." And Meathead, he found a way to get around it, and he said, "Listen, if nobody claims him, they'll bury him in what's called Potter's Field, and you don't have to spend a dime, I don't think, something like that." And I thought that was really interesting. Potter's Field, yes, yes, yes. Edward Stewart, The Short was released by Miriam Allen Ford, an American sci-fi and mystery writer. Tales was published a decade earlier in 1961. She passed in 1975. She was still alive when adapted for Night Gallery. Very cool, Edward. Thank you for the little tidbits there. But he doesn't understand. E.G. Marshall doesn't understand. He's like, wait a second. Because also when they come in and knock on the door, he's sitting at an organ just playing organ music. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine your life just being in this big, beautiful house, and you're just, I mean, not in a good way, just being lonely, not having anybody around, and you're drumming, at the organ. It's just not. It's a very dreadful episode, kind of. It's very dark and, kind of depressing a little bit, kind of depressing. Not that it takes away from the plot and the story and how good the episode was, but when you start to look at this guy and what he's going through, he's lived this whole life and accepts it, being lonely. But they open the door, he's playing, so it was a cool scene. But he gets in this debate back and forth with these guys, because these guys just don't get it. They're like, well, wait, no, he's a charity case. Didn't you look at the paperwork? It says it right there. And E.G. Marshall's like, Jared Soames. I got to say E.G. Marshall, because when I talk about episodes like this, if we know the main character better, like I'm going to call Vincent Price, not Professor. Maybe I'll call him Professor. I don't know. Let me take a sip. Let me see what you guys are saying. Definitely good to have each and every one of you here today. I really enjoyed watching this one. I've enjoyed watching every one of them. I think almost like the Twilight Zones, I don't think there's a bad episode of Night Gallery. I really don't think so. If I'm wrong, let me know. But he's like, no flowers. There's no family members, no nothing. And there's a reason why he's asking, because something very morbid goes on at this estate, this funeral home. And we'll find that out very quickly here. But he's like, okay, yeah, no flowers, no nothing. Okay. But I like when they leave and he pulls the sheet out from, uncovers his face of the old man, Simon Cotner, who's 81 years old. How he sits there and he says, 81 years, basically saying you've got no one. You've got, out of all that span of time, and think about it. I mean, how sad that is, that there's nobody. Yeah, this is itchy. It's definitely being shaved tonight. I've always tried to grow that thing out, but it just gets to a point to where it's that is gray. I like the gray. It looks good. It stays dark up here, but I'm getting into my listen. I always go off on tangents, but yeah, the silver here is like I like that, but it is what it is. But anyways, he starts to talk to him like I've got what does he say? Like he says, should have more in eternity. 99 years old, must easy about the convict. Okay, that's different. Basically, he says, I've got better plans for you. I've got plans for you. And you're like, what? What do you mean? Maybe he's going to, do some kind of funeral for him or whatever. But it was a little weird. It was a little weird. And then we get taken to the cemetery. Let me see. Chat's pretty slow. Listening to me. Thank you guys for being here. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button and leave a comment afterwards, please. And again, don't forget me and Dave tomorrow night. We are talking. Let me go look. What are we talking about tomorrow? Oh, the Mod Squad. The Teeth of the Barracuda, season 1, episode 1. So we're going to hope that everybody likes us talking about the Mod Squad. That'll be very interesting to talk about. I've never seen an episode of that. So E.G. Marshall sweeps us over to the cemetery where he's being buried, and it's pouring rain. Kind of a cool scene, but you've got somebody in the trench, like digging. The old school. They don't got a machine that's digging it. Evidently, they're digging it with a shovel. And they get ready to hoist the casket, the wooden box. It's not really even a casket, it's a wooden box. And it's funny how they say earlier, he's got $100 for this funeral, enough for a wooden box and formaldehyde. Geez, I certainly hope that's not said of me when I'm listen. I've got some kids that love me. I hope But anyways, they start to drop them down, and they go, "Boy, this casket is light." Immediately, I'm like, "Listen, I know the body isn't in there, but I don't know what he put in there." But E.G. Marshall does go, "Yeah, he was a very frail old man, very light, and starts to lower him into the ground. And then the next scene you see is E.G. Marshall in his hearse, which I didn't understand that either. The people that brought him were in this cool kind of silver hearse, and E.G. Marshall wasn't. How'd they get a hold of his vehicle? I don't. It was weird. Anyways, he was driving back home from the cemetery, pouring rain, and there's a blockade in front of him with some cops, and they're like stopping people because Desi Arnaz Jr., the famous Desi Arnaz Jr., the famous Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz had a child, and he really never became famous, but he did have some bit roles here, and this is one of them. And he ends up being a convicted murderer. He says he's a murderer. Murder 1. 99 years with no possibility of parole. So he's definitely going to be in prison forever. They didn't say nothing about no death penalty or nothing like that, but definitely very cool. D. Demchek. Have an amazing night, everyone. Thank you. It's been a while since I've seen you, D. What's going on? Good to see you, man. Definitely good to see D. Demchek in the chat. So they stop him. They say, yeah, this killer's on the loose. He's got blood. They named the car, I forget what they said, a green Pontiac something or another. I don't know. Maybe it was a green Gremlin. I don't know. But he's out on the loose, so watch out for him. So, but he just continues on. He says, I'm just coming from the cemetery, and he heads back up to his estate, the funeral home, where you hear him saying to for he's a jolly good fellow, kind of like there's a party going on, and but basically you hear that behind the closed door, and he comes out and closes it behind him. And you kind of know that the old guy is back there, but you don't really know what's going on until kind of the end scene of this segment, and which is quite creepy. It's almost it's almost like Psycho. It's got that kind of well, it's almost exactly like Psycho times 10. That's all. That's what I can say about this segment, because he is doing something that is very, very weird. Before the internet, is this a review? Yes, you are not seeing the actual episode. I'm talking about it. This is a segment on the channel where I talk about Night Gallery. So, but good to see you nevertheless before the internet. It is a review, a discussion. A review, you kind of say what you think, and so it's kind of a review, but it's mostly a discussion I have with you guys. Raj Ram, what is going on? Sorry for no problem. Harry Scott, what is going on? Hi boy donuts to you, my friend. That he's a jolly good fellow reminds me they're tearing down Tim Riley's bar. They do the same thing there, yes, in that episode. That was a really good one too. Yes, they're tearing down Tim Riley's bar. But here he's evidently singing to the old man, and how he's doing that we'll get to know in a few minutes. In the meantime, Desi Arnaz Jr., his character, comes and rings the doorbell and comes through. He's got a gun out and he's bleeding, and he's the escaped convict, and he's in there. He's in the funeral home, and the thing is, E.G. Marshall, his character, Jerry Soames, because he's been so lonely, he's just looking at him, and he's kind of showing some warmth to him, like I said earlier, and telling him, okay, come on in, even though Desi Arnaz is kind of, saying, I'm going to kill you. If you do anything, you make a move, I'm going to kill you. Listen, what were you doing in that room? Who else is here? I heard you singing the song to somebody. And it's funny because he walks his way over to the door and he opens it, and you get a glimpse of the old man. And it's creepy. The old man, you get just a picture of the old man sitting in a chair at the end of a table. And it's weird because it's like right there when you come through the front door, and that's not where they're at the end of the episode, unless he moves the body somewhere else. Maybe he was just singing him there in that room at that moment, because there's a basement doorway that it goes. But I can't nitpick. He's basically doing that. Okay, I only just subbed and I'm not used to uploads. No worries before the internet. No worries at all. Listen, it's fun to sit and discuss these older shows like this that are cult classics, and people just love them. And I've watched them before. I don't think I've seen every Night Gallery. I've seen every Twilight Zone over and over again, but that's something a little bit different. I'd love to cover that too, but we got to get through Night Gallery. Anyways, so what happens is he closes the door and he kind of falls down to the ground, and he basically starts telling E.G. Marshall, listen, please just let me rest a while, give me something to drink, let me rest a while, and don't call, don't do anything, and I will leave. And he said basically, okay, sets him off into the parlor, I guess, where there's a couch. He says, you can spend the rest of the night on the couch, you could sleep, rest. But as he goes in there and he lays down, Desi Arnaz Jr., Doran, he lays back on the couch, and he's just let's see, I'm just looking at the hearse driver, best known for Barney Miller. He passed away in 1999. He was 66. Edward Stewart. Norm Pitlick. Yeah, okay. Thank you, Edward. Yeah, his face was familiar. I think it might have been uncredited. Maybe he was credited. I don't know. A lot of these bit parts in these episodes and segments aren't really that important. But he lays on a couch, and he's basically, he's got the couch, the fire going, and he's going to try to fall asleep. But he starts to tell him, E.G. Marshall, his life and, what's going on. And E.G. Marshall says, he goes, "Do you have any other family?" Finds out that he's got nobody in his life. And it's going to be important for the very end of this episode, or this segment. I'm sorry. There's always like 3 or 4 segments in these night galleries. So it's important that we know that he doesn't have any family. Because he's laying there dying on the couch. Really, he's bleeding to death. Although all that blood, and he's walking all around this place. I don't know. Very interesting. Let me take a sip of ginger ale while you guys do whatever. I don't know. So, E.G. Marshall gets a blanket, puts it on him, and he basically reassures him, "Listen, everything's okay. You can stay here, but he knows he's alone. So the next thing that happens is he ends up, he falls asleep on the couch, and he's woken up by the organ is there. And I think there's a rainstorm going on outside, because it's a weird sound. I couldn't connect the dots, whether it was the organ. It seemed like the wind was blowing through the organ chimes and caused him to wake up. So I don't know what was going on there. It was a little weird. But anyways, he gets up and he starts to follow where he hears E.G. Marshall going on, and you can hear him talking to people or somebody or something. And he opens the door up and he goes down the basement. Desi Arnaz Jr., still injured, still bleeding, because when the police come in later, they see blood everywhere. If this guy was bleeding that much, he'd be dead in like half an hour. I mean, come on. Anyways, James Silking, first state trooper, best known for L.T. Hunter in Hill Street Blues. Thank you, Edward Stewart. Thank you. You guys are awesome. Get used to a lot more streams going live. I'm going to be doing that. Just in the mood now of just talking about things I've been doing and watching in the paranormal shows and stuff like that. So stay tuned for what ends up getting posted. So I like this scene where Desi Arnaz Jr. starts to walk down the basement. It's a long stairway that's all wooden, and on the back wall, there's a bunch of picture frames, and it fits in perfect with Night Gallery, because Night Gallery is an art studio. It's a painting for each segment of the show. Ed Stathis would appreciate this, because it has nothing to do with the E.G. Marshall, this segment, the funeral home. It's just he's going down a basement, and I think because it's Night Gallery, they decided to just have a bunch of empty frames of all sizes, and it's a scene that you would look at and you go, "This looks familiar," And I couldn't quite picture if it was something from something I've seen in the past, but I know it's a reflection on Night Gallery, the show, because they're all empty frames, and he's walking down, and what he ends up doing is opening the door, and this is the end of this episode, kind of. We're getting there, where he opens the door and he sees E.G. Marshall with a party hat on and a table with a bunch of people sitting there. The guy who just died, Simon Kotner, is sitting at the head of the table, who he says, "This is my father. This is my wife. This is my 2 children. And this is my brother." He introduces them all, and it's a freaky scene. And when I said earlier, this reminds me of Psycho in so many ways, because he's keeping these corpses around it. Also, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the bodies around the table, and even Grandpa, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, let's prop him up at the table, although he was alive. But he's got all these dead bodies who I don't know how the children would have nobody in their life unless the family died together because they were young. And the creepy part is, happy to hear that, Dino. Miss all the streams you do. I'm sure everyone else does. Thank you, Connie. I know it's been a rough year for me. So just know that I'm getting out of that and I'm getting things going again. So thank you. But it's really creepy. It's creepy because everybody is they're people, they're living, and they put the makeup on and you could still see the flesh, the blood in their cheeks and stuff like that because in these night gallery, I noticed the dead people who were dead, like you would put the makeup on, but they wouldn't do a great job, the makeup artist, when they would try to make a dead body and cover it up and make them pale. I don't know why that is, but they never did. They never did a great job at that. But it did lend to the creepiness of the scene because you've got E.G. Marshall having a dinner party with party hats on everybody. And again, like Norman Bates, something clicked or not clicked or something broke in his head, his mindset. And because he was so lonely and he figured, these lonely people who have died, I'm going to make myself a family. I don't know how the other ones aren't like decomposing and stuff, but they're not. One big happy family, huh? Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah. But yeah, no, he's having, and Desi Arnaz is just looking at him like he's crazy. And of course he is, right? I mean, can he be sane and still do something like that? I think it's possible, but I mean, I don't think so. I mean, you would really have to have a morbid sense of humor to be able to do something like that. But doorbell rings upstairs. Doorbell rings, and the police come in, and they hear a shot. Because Desi Arnaz wanted to get the hell out of there, and E.G. Marshall was like, no, it's kind of holding them back. So then you don't see nothing. Then you hear them come in the door, and they hear a gunshot, and they go downstairs, and they open the door, and there's E.G. Marshall, and he's saying, "Listen," and you could kind of see a bullet shot like right in his chest, with blood coming down it, and off to his left, Desi Arnaz is dead. He's sitting there, and he goes, "This is my son." He goes, we're just having a get together, a little family dinner, and this is my son." And, and it's sad because it ends with him trying to take a sip of wine and he collapses on the chair and he's dead. So the lonely, poor E.G. Marshall in the funeral home, he dies. So, what do we get out of this? It's awful to be alone in life. It's awful to be alone. And sometimes loneliness can make a person snap. Everybody needs somebody in their life, right? Right? To be happy. And there you go. That is it. Ian Sharp, let's get to the next segment, which, whoo, man. E.G. lost the plot. Ian Sharp, yeah. He most certainly did. John Evans, a second state trooper known for Warehouse 13, Blood Earth City, Final Conflict. Thank you, Edward Stewart. Really appreciate that. Yeah, I'm just going through the discussion. There's a lot of stuff on IMDb I could pop over there too, but we maybe we'll do that at the end if we got time. But it looks like, man, 36 minutes, and we've gotten just to say, but this is going to go real quick. This was the 4-minute segment, the Merciful. And I do hate that the thumbnail is wrong because they changed that to Satisfaction Guarenteed, not Witch's Feast. So now I got to change it, or I can leave it because the history behind it I said at the beginning. So who knows? Whatever. So the Merciful. Let's get to it. Let's see. Where do I go? It's a short one, 4 minute. It stars. Do I even say stars? But there's only two characters in there. There's the wife and the husband. That's what they're credited as. The wife is played by Imogene Coca, who, has been in a lot of stuff. Martha Purdue. Hello from Lenoir, North Carolina. Hopefully I got that right. Lenoir, North Carolina. I like that name, Lenoir. Probably because there's noir in the name. But good to have you, Martha. Appreciate you being here. Be sure to, you subscribed. So hopefully you check us out every Saturday and Sunday where we do a lot of discussions on these types of things. The Merciful, yes, Imogene Coca, and the husband was King Donovan. Was that his name? I wrote it down. It's got to be King Donovan. Yes, King Donovan. But Imogene Coca was in a lot of stuff. Let's see. How many credits? Well, you know what? Not as much as I thought. 44 credits to her name. She was in Mama's Family. Vacation. She was the aunt that went in A Christmas Vacation. Vacation. Isn't that her? Christmas Vacation? Where they stuck her in the back. No, Vacation. They stuck her in the back. They picked her up. She died in the back of the vehicle. Anyways, Imogene Coca. Listen, it doesn't really matter. But Coca, best known for Your Shadow of Shows, 1954. There you go. Yes, King Donovan. What was King Donovan? Listen, he's an old actor. I know that much. They were both very old. Ooh, in Invasion of the Body Snatchers from 1956, the old one. 126 credits. So he did a lot. Okay, it's a madman, world. It's a madman, world. Okay, so The Merciful. What is this about? They try to trick you. Let me take a sip. They try to pull the wool over your eyes in 4 minutes. Because the camera's pointed at the wife in the scene where she's bricking up who you think is her husband, who is sitting in a rocking chair, isn't saying much, but he's going, "Oh, honey, what are you doing? What are you doing, honey?" Basically pulling that. Coca and Donovan were married in real life. Edward, oh, thank you, Edward. See, I didn't even know that. But the wife is bricking up, you think, her husband. He's sitting there in a rocking chair, and she goes on, you know what we discussed yesterday? You know what we discussed? This is the best thing. She said, better than dealing with the pain, which makes you think cancer, something. There's some kind of illness that's causing a lot of pain. But she's got the old, and I thought this was funny. She's got the old, like, what is that? The little shovel thingy you put the cement. Oh my God, I'm hiccuping now. I should know what that is. But she's putting it on there, and it's getting higher and higher, and you don't see her face really. And yeah, she's saying we shouldn't deal with the pain. She goes, once it's bricked off, there'll be no air. There'll be no air getting in. So I guess it's a real good seal. A real good seal. A trowel. Thank you, Harry Scott. I needed somebody to tell me it was a trowel. Thank you, Harry Scott. That's why I got you guys here in the chat. I love you guys, But he's troweling up the brickwork and cementing the brick wall and saying, nowhere. And he's just like, he's fine with it because they've discussed it. But then the doorbell, you hear a doorbell ring, and the old man gets up from the rocking chair, knocks on the brick. He's like, honey, there's someone at the door. There's someone at the door. And as the camera moves, you see that the wife is bricking herself up. She's doing it herself. And the old man gets up and he's going to go answer the door. And that's, listen, that was 4 minutes of a quick turnabout. And at the very end, you find out, she's bricking up herself, and they've discussed it, and it's all as well. So there you go. That's one. Coco passed from Alzheimer's. Donovan passed in 1987. Coco passed in June 2nd, 2001. Oh, right around the Space Odyssey. Okay, in this one, this next segment with Vincent Price is a trip. It reminded me, like I said, a bit of Clockwork Orange. It's set in futuristic, the class of 99. When you think of this being aired in 1971, 81, 91, almost 30 years later, they thought foolishly, well, no, not foolishly, because things did kind of progress, but was it as evolved or highly evolved as it was shown? Listen, it was dystopian, futuristic kind of segment, and Vincent Price plays this professor, and the scene takes place in a classroom, a professor in a classroom with a futuristic type look. I love the look to it. The clock on the wall was something else. I mean, it was just like, paper, like somebody cut out paper and glued it to the wall. But anyways, listen, it was an excellent segment, but it was one that I got to watch what I say here, because it's very, there's some good points and valid issues that they tackle in this. And this is probably Rod Serling's input on this one, because he likes to tackle social situations. And back in the late 60s, right on that cusp, there was the hippie movement. There was a lot of racial kind of things going on and stuff like that. So them tackling things the way they did in this segment, Class of 99, was very interesting. And again, starts off with Vincent Price as the professor, and he starts, you think, to give a lecture, but he's basically saying, this is the start of your final exams. Okay. So listen, there's some good twists in here. I'd say Clockwork Orange meets Westworld, maybe something like that. Very interesting. That's what I first thought here. Let's see. Lots of funny short episode. Yeah, it was. Listen, even in the first one, the music was very, like, kind of like a fun kind of, and it was a very dark, depressing first segment of this, A Death in the Family. So with this one, yeah, he's starting, Vincent Price is starting the final exams, okay? And he starts to ask them some questions about, I think, history, to start off. And he gets Johnson to answer some questions. Well, he goes to like 3 different people. They answer the questions correctly. He gets to this guy, Johnson, who can't answer the question. He gives 3 correct names for whatever the question was. Can't do the 4th one. So that's a big no-no. You have to be 100% correct. So that out of the way, they quickly go, he says, now we're on to the behavioral sciences. Behavioral science. This is about, incorporating yourself in day-to-day life and the civilization, whether it be futuristic or even now, right? How do you handle people? How do you deal with people? Do you get angry? Do you get sad or upset? How do you can you murder, if given the situation? So the behavioral sciences in this segment, very, very interesting. And it's funny because he's got two guys sitting on either side of him with like a briefcase, like they've got stuff there and in there for them to get ready. Let me see what you guys are saying. Edward Stewart. As a part of a tight budget and deadline, 99 had to be filmed within half a workday. And that makes a lot of sense because, you know, it's just in that one thing. And they could have, it's like a, what is it, like a 15-minute scene? So I could see that. I could see that. So he starts giving these questions to these people, these students, and very, very, and dealing with behavioral sciences. Let me start off with he asked Barnes. I think it's no. He asked another guy. I forget the name of the other guy. A white guy stands up, and I'm going to refer to white and black here because this is what the segment is about. On this first question, has to do with race. So the white guy stands up, and I forget his name. I forget the guy's name, but it doesn't matter. He stands up and he's asked the question of who do you hate? Or no, not that, but he says that Barnes, who is a black man, is trying to get a job that you are going for. I believe that's the situation going on here, if I remember correctly. Something along those lines, very similar. So Barnes, the black guy, and the white guy, Vincent Price is asking the white guy, I wish I knew his name. Let's call him John. He asked John, how do you feel towards this black man? And he doesn't say black man. He says, describe this man. And he describes him as, 5'9", 150 pounds, bigoted. No, not, he doesn't say him bigoted. He ends up saying, oh, this is the bad part. See, I'm bumbling words because I'm gonna watch what I say, but says he is inferior. So basically, John's saying that Barnes is inferior, which gets a very angry looking face on Barnes, who is very pissed off. And he asks him, okay, well, how would you deal with this situation? How do you feel? How do you feel towards Barnes? And he tells him, well, I would slap him in the face. So he walks down and he confronts and he stands right in front of Barnes, white guy, black guy, and he slaps him in the face real hard. Vincent Price goes to Barnes, the black man, and he asks him, describe John to me. Who is he? And he basically says, well, he's a 6-foot white man who's a bigot, who's got anger. He's a bigot. And pretty much says, what would you do to this guy? What do you want to do? He says, I want to slap him back. So he takes and wallops him one across the jaw. Boom. Slaps him. Reminded me some of these slap fights that go on in like UFC type stuff situations. They're very ignorant. One of the most ignorant things I've ever seen in my entire life. People slapping themselves and seeing how much pain they could take. I can't get over that, man. I can't get over that. Hilly Hicks as Barnes. Can't remember the white guy's names. Yep. Correct. Again, he said the name real quick, so fast, I think. But anyways, this, and again, they were making the point that there was racial tensions, at the time. But this was supposed to be a dystopian type future type thing, and they're trying to integrate them into society. And I'll explain how they're trying to integrate them into society, because there's a twist There's a twist. There always is in Night Gallery at the end here. They're not just going through the motions on, is this guy really going to, does he hate him because he's black, or does he hate him because he's white? Slap him, you got your pain, your misery out of the way. There's that as far as it's going to go. So then that's done, that's settled, and he goes to, well, and he asks them, what is that? And they go, satisfaction. So that's there's satisfaction out of slapping the other person. You feel good, just like, somebody's a jerk, you punch him in the face and you feel good about yourself, right? Most of the time. I don't know. Listen, I don't know. Not that I've done that. So the next person he asks a question to is Miss Peterson. Stands up. It's a female, Miss Peterson. Not going to give any description because I'm not going to go there. I don't think it has to really do with the physical appearance. It does to a degree. Let's just say Miss Peterson is she's different than the other person that Vincent Price asks her to pick out somebody that she basically hates. Who do you hate in this classroom? Who do you hate? Who do you got resentment towards or hatred towards? And she goes, Joanne Fields. Joanne Fields. And who is Joanne Fields? Well, Miss Peterson says Joanne Fields is a stuck-up, snobbish, with rich parents who has everything given to her. And she's pretty. So Miss Peterson's going to hate her just because she's pretty. I think that's the whole thing. You can't look at, beauty. There's beauty inside, there's beauty outside, So does that person that doesn't have the beauty outside and has it inside show anger towards and resentment towards somebody who's beautiful in appearance? And that's basically the question here. And he basically tells her, what would you do? What do you want to do to her? So Miss Peterson walks down to Joanne Fields, who's standing there, and she's pretty and stuff like that. And Miss Peterson takes her necklace, which looks like a very expensive necklace, probably given to her by her rich parents. She pulls it off her neck and throws it down on the ground, disrespecting her, throws it down on the ground. And what I thought came next was interesting. Vincent Price asked her, Joanne Fields, what do you think of Miss Peterson now? And she pretty much says she's white trash. She's white trash, plain and simple. And after she says she's white trash, which that word very, very familiar in 2024. I don't know. Anyways, Elkins or Clinton is Joey. Okay, so she basically goes back and she picks up that necklace that Miss Peterson threw on the ground. She picks it up, and this is what I'm talking about. And I'll say it in a second. The beauty outside doesn't matter just as much as beauty inside doesn't matter or matters, vice versa. She picks up the necklace. She goes back to Miss Peterson, puts the necklace in her hand, and spits in her face. Now, that wasn't very nice, but Miss Peterson tore off the necklace and threw it down. But she took the necklace and she gave it back to her as if, listen, this doesn't mean nothing to me. You can have it. If it means that much to you, here it is. Take it. But she does spit in her face. And that is kind of a snobbish thing to do. So that's the situation there. And they both go back to their seats. I thought that was very interesting. And it goes to the point that, listen, you can be rich and beautiful. And oh my God, I need a drink. I've had a cough for months. going around. Pneumonia is going around, man, everywhere. Lots of kids and stuff. My son got pneumonia, viral pneumonia, and he's better now. He's doing good. Okay, hopefully I'm fine. Let me take one more sip. Here we go. Yeah, man. Ooh, tickle. Guess when you're talking a lot too, you know. That was classic what she said. Yes, yes, yes. The next one, he asked somebody else. Okay, so let me get this correct. Elkins. Vincent Price asks Elkins to stand up and pick out an enemy. Pick out an enemy. Somebody you would look at in the classroom and you would go, that's my enemy. And again, I think it's kind of a racial thing. He picks out Mr. Chang. And Mr. Chang stands up. And he asks Elkins, what would you like to do to him? What would you like to do to your enemy? What would you do? You don't want pneumonia. It's not fun. No. It's a, again, weird situation. But anyway, Elkins looks at Mr. Chang and he says, he's my enemy. He says, I would like to kill him. And then the guy sitting next to Vincent Price opens up his briefcase and gives Vincent Price a pistol. The pistol is handed off to Elkins. Come and get it. Let's see what you're going to do, Elkins. So Elkins carries the pistol up, walks up the steps to Mr. Chang, and he points the pistol right at him. And he's kind of, you know, he's kind of hesitating, you know. He's like, and then it goes off and it hits and shoots the clock behind him. And Vincent Price gets pissed off. He's like, what's going on? Why did you not use the pistol? He's your enemy. You're not doing the correct thing. And Elkins starts to walk backwards again. And he's starting to say, listen, I don't think this is my enemy. I don't think this is my enemy. He missed deliberately because he did not want to. He's not the enemy. He's not the enemy. And Vincent Price the whole time, camera's getting close up of his face, and he's like, you know, oh, hey, what's going on here? This is not the way this should go. If he's your enemy, you should do away with him. You should kill him. Satemkia Falling Tree, what is going on? Good to see you. A great episode of Bionic Woman called Black Magic. Vincent Price giving a great performance. Similar to Return of the Sorcerer Night Gallery episode. Edward Stewart. Very good. Very good. Very cool. So what ends up happening? Hold on. Let me see. Let me see what's going on here over at the thing. Just checking out the stats and stuff like that. So he starts to walk back down towards Vincent Price, and that's when he tells the guy sitting next to him, stop everything and deactivate. Deactivate. So immediately you're like, they're deactivating all the students? How is this possible? He presses up. I got an itch now too. Here you go. He's I got some problems. He's deactivating everybody in the classroom. So everybody is frozen. They all go stiff. They're all frozen. So are they manipulating time? What are they doing? No, that's not what they're doing, but I'll get to that in a second. So what he ends up doing is Vincent Price, he goes and asks Mr. Johnson, who's another student, he goes, activate the left side under my control. That's what he says. Activate the left side under my control, which he then says, Mr. Johnson, I want you to do Elkins' job. Who is the enemy? And he says, Mr. Johnson says, it's Elkins. It's Elkins. Elkins the enemy because he did not perform his duty. He says he is a traitor. Therefore, he is the enemy. That's what Mr. Johnson says. So he basically says he's the enemy. Listen, he's the enemy. Not Mr. Chang, but the one who is the traitor. So he's the enemy, and he shoots him. He shoots him. And what ends up happening is the camera goes down and you see that it's a robot. So there, it makes sense. So I guess the segment, really dystopian future, they're trying to work robots or AI, which if we're getting into now, right? How do you integrate robots or artificial intelligence into society, into the real world? How do you do that? Do you, like this, have a professor or teacher? Do they go to a school or a college or whatever you want to call it and train them or teach them the right and wrong? Do you put them through the questioning? What would you do? Would you kill? Would you, how would you feel towards this other person? Would you pick up human traits? I thought that was very interesting, especially for being 1971 and, issues that we're kind of going through right now. I think is very, very interesting. Which takes us to the very last segment, which is satisfaction guaranteed. Let's see. Let me look at the chat real quick. Satemkia falling tree, 4th week in hospital, blood infection, and now blood clots. Satemkia, prayers everybody to Satemkia that he feels better. Listen, hopefully some of the pain goes. Hopefully the clots go away and you start to feel better. Everybody just do that and think of that for a little bit, and you'll be fine, Satemkia. It's just taken a long time, that's for sure, but you will be okay. It sucks that you're going through that, but as long as they get that infection under control, you'll be fine. Prayers, everybody, to Satemkia falling tree. Much love to you, my friend. Okay, which I thought was Witch's Feast, which got aired on the original airing date. It's Satisfaction Guaranteed. That was the last and final segment in this episode. And let me tell you, I actually kind of laughed at the very end of this segment because it cracked me up. It cracked me up. We get Victor Bono. Oh, I forget how you say his last name, but he's a big actor. Big actor. Let me go over here. Let me get to this real quick because I want to just let everybody know who this is. This is Victor Buono. I know I'm saying the name wrong, but he has an Oscar too. Nominated for 1 Oscar, 3 nominations total. But he was in Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. He was in Beneath the Planet of the Apes. He was in 110 different things. I mean, his IMDb, More Wild West. Okay. He was in Super Train. He was in a lot of TV shows, that's for sure. Orson Welles' Great Mysteries. Let's go back to The Flying Nun. Here's Lucy. He was a TV actor. Let's see. I know if we go way back, that's when he did do a lot of movies. Bronco, Sugarfoot, The Rebel, Outlaws, Michael Shane? TV. Michael Shane TV series with Calder Lamont playing Michael Shane. I've got to look that up. He also played in Thriller, 1960 to 1961 TV series. That's another one I should try to tackle along the same lines. But okay, so anyways, let's get back to talking about this because this was an interesting segment, that's for sure. And it's a quick one. Looking, Untouchables too. He was in the Untouchables. Okay. That didn't ring a bell, but yeah, I trust you guys. Okay. So Victor Buono is the customer in this segment. And this is a very short one. It's like 4 or 5 minutes long too. Then there's a Mrs. Mount, who is the owner of this agency, who guarantees satisfaction guaranteed. I do believe her business is giving like a an agent, like a employment agency type thing, like where she will give you a secretary or whatever, the perfect one. um so she starts calling in one woman at a time, okay, like to be their secretary. And each time Victor Buono, the customer, is sitting in this chair looking at the women's up and down, like, he's just looking at a piece of meat is what he's doing. I mean, that's what it looks like, and no pun intended for those who know the segment, because it's funny. Overkill with an O. What is going on? Good to see you. Good to see you. Short life for Victor. Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately. Anyways, he's looking these girls up and down, and he keeps saying, no, she will not do. She will not do. And Mrs. Mount keeps looking back and like, really? Really? She's not good enough for you? Nope. Nope. And I like how they pan over to the satisfaction guaranteed sign again, and back to her, and she looks at the sign, satisfaction guaranteed. Really? Yes. Oh my God, I need to make this man happy. So she can't make him happy. But then I think Mrs. Mount's secretary comes in, and I'm just going to say it how it is. She's a hefty gal with a big badoink-a-doink, okay? Because she comes in, turns around, whips that thing, and goes into the filing cabinet and she's bent over, and the whole time he's looking at her like, whoa, 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 whoa. And you're like going, what the heck is going on? Hey, Chris W., what is going on? I can't chat, but love y'all. I'm listening. Sounds good, Chris W. Good to see you. So he's looking at her, and he's like, yes, this is the one I want. And Mrs. Mount goes, really? Really? She's got no shorthand. Doesn't matter. She doesn't know how to type. Doesn't matter. She's just making excuse after excuse that she's not good at anything. She's not good at her job. But he's just some big smiles looking at that badoink-a-doink. And she's just like, oh. And then he writes out a check. He goes, nope, here. And she goes, well, when would you want her to start? And he's messing around with his suitcase, and you hear like dishes and silverware being messed around, and he puts the silverware and dishes down, and then he starts to put his bib on, and he says, not necessary. I'll have her hair. Basically, he's a cannibal. He's going to eat her. She was, he wanted a lot of meat. And then, the pun earlier then, slipped in there. But yeah, that's it. He wanted to eat. I mean, he was hungry. Can I take a sip now? Victor was always fun in just about everything. Hey, Cha5, good to see you. Been a while. Good to see you. Got some more stuff, Chris, coming on. Dino Brookhaven. Just be what can I say? Patient with me. I actually just built Steampunk Club, which I'll show in an upcoming video. Horror Junkie for Life. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Happy Thanksgiving, fellow Late Horror Show folks. So grateful to be part of this group. So grateful to have you, Horror Junkie for Life. Going on, listen, I don't know how long now. Years? I mean, I don't know how many years it's been. 3 years for you, Horror Junkie, or is it 4? I mean, you've been here for a while. But thank you for that. Appreciate it. So, that's the end of that. He's a cannibal. It was a very short one. Usually it's those very 4-minute, 5-minute short ones usually are comical, although the Merciful wasn't too much a comedy. It was a, I'm dying and I'm going to brick myself up. You think it's him, but it's her. I think the segment for me personally, 3 years, Horror Junkie for life. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yes, Steampunk Club. Yes. I should have that video up on Dino Brookhaven tomorrow. And finally, Lego City update. So, but yes, 3 years. Awesome. Thank you, Horror Junkie. I'm glad all of you have been here for so long. And the segment for me is the Class of '99. I loved the dystopian kind of, well, other than Satisfaction Guaranteed, the last one. It was a nice, quick, funny segment, and I thought that was so pleasing. And it would bump this up to whatever I give it. What would I give the episode overall? All 4 segments combined, I think I would be right around the 7.2. I think IMDb even gives it something like that. Let me see. Let me go back. Let me look. What did IMDb give it? Gives it a 6.0. No, that's Satisfaction Guaranteed. Let me go back one more. 7.3 for the episode they give it. I said 7.2, so roughly the same. Fluff Chick Productions, $5 super chat. Thank you, Dino. Thank you, Connie. Thank you, Fluff Chick Productions. Thank you. And thank you, Connie, for always taking care of the movie nights for me. I really do appreciate that. And for everybody understanding and having fun with Connie in the movie nights on Wednesdays and Fridays. I really do appreciate that. Thank you. Let's see. That was a joke. What is free time? We all need to rest, it's okay not to share all the free time. Listen, it is what it is, Chris. It's all good. Negrodamus, the entire neighborhood was bought by an airport. The whole neighborhood was paid. Transferred in dystopian crime. After the homes. I'm not sure what that means in regards to the segment of this night gallery. That's not what happened or what I get. But anyways, dystopian. That's my segment. That's the one I liked the best. I thought that was awesome. Not just because Vincent Price was in there, but just how they had if you haven't seen it before or it's been forever, like how the thought of them integrating AI or robots into a dystopian type future was just so interesting. So that's my segment. That's what I loved. Anyways, me and Dave tomorrow night. Hopefully you guys enjoy me talking about that tonight. Really do appreciate it. Please comment afterwards. It's so hard to get comments. They've gone up a little bit. Thank you to the ones who do. I really do appreciate it. Just throwing out a side thing because it says Class of 1999 in the headline. Gotcha, Negrodamus. Yeah, no, that segment was very, like I said, Clockwork Orange meets Westworld, kind of dystopian future, teaching the robots or AI, whatever you want to call them, to integrate into society. And are they going to have the same issues that humans have through the learning process? Are they going to learn from it? Will they kill? Will they, the anger, the hate, all that stuff that I said earlier on the segment. I mean, it's so interesting. That's for sure. And of course, rest in peace, Price. But the Mod Squad tomorrow. Thank you, Harry. I will keep that up. Thank you, Harry. Me and Dave tomorrow, Mod Squad. Never seen it. I'm looking forward to watching it. And I'm looking forward to me and Dave talking about it tomorrow night. So that is definitely going to be very, very interesting. And I think I'm shaving this off. It's not going to work. Too scraggly. Just can't do it. I wish I could, because I want to just, I want to be Santa Claus. But anyways, love your channel. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Nogradamus. Listen, one more thing. I know numbers have dropped on the channel for the old time radio streams overnight. They have dropped. Everybody's kind of heard all of these episodes a million times. I'm trying to give a different experience by maybe different scenes to play along with it. But I figure if there's a stream that aired 7 months ago and it's been that long since I played it, every now and then it's not bad to just throw it up there. Everybody just likes to listen to old time radio. I've played nearly everything I possibly can. Not everything. There's a lot of CBS Radio Mystery Theater I'm still getting to. Like last night, I played ones I've never played before, and I hope, and they're timestamps. So I hope everybody likes those. But when you get the nights where I just throw up Johnny Dollar surprise stream, it's going to be Johnny Dollar. It's going to be a nice listen. You can fall asleep to it. You get to chat with our family, the Late Late Horror Show family, all night long if you want, or wake up to morning coffee with Emily and whoever else is up to talk about the morning. So that's why I like to keep doing it. But I mean, honestly, really, I've come to a point to where on this channel, I've played most of all of Detectives Mysteries. There are still things I'm trying to work on the audio on, but I've played most of them. So I hope you understand, and I hope most of you continue to dive into my archives or hang around at least for a little bit on the overnights, as we're all a family here, and to listen together is nice. I know that there is a drifting to others who are starting fresh. And that's the thing I kind of don't understand, but I get it. And I, it is what it is. Like there's a new Fauna Radio or something like that. I know a lot of people are going over there, but it's everything I've played. It's just a different thumbnail or something like that. So, I'm trying to freshen things up a bit. So you got a different look by, new scenes and stuff like that. And I am working hard on making new scenes for the streams. But as far as, playing streams, I do like to go. I will still go weeks without playing certain things. But listen, Richard Diamond, Johnny Dollar, Michael Shane, those mixes are always going to be there. Just like, listen, I can listen to Sherlock Holmes every night falling asleep. I can do that. But I just hope that the majority of you guys stick around still, because the channel, has reached a point after 5.5 years of, playing most of what I can. And I think the surprise streams without timestamps, for the ones about, like Detectives, you kind of know what you're going to get with me, right? And there's plenty in the archives that have timestamps. And the CBS Radio Mystery Theaters, like last night, you're going to get those. But anyways, I just wanted to make a point with that. That's all. I just hope that I've noticed that it's almost cut in half when it comes to the overnights, the amount of people watching. So imagine half the audience just kind of not being there. I mean, there was a point where we had 500, 600, almost 700 people overnight streams. Last night, it was, I don't think I got 200 people in the live chat and I'm not complaining. I'm just talking to you guys, trying to make you understand the situation. I think it's why I'm going more towards working hard on a lot of these other things I want to do and just having fun, like talking about Night Gallery tonight, talking about the Mod Squad with Dave, like we do every Sunday, but me throwing in other shows that I'd like to start doing. Like I'd like to start doing things through the weekdays too. So again, know that you're going to be getting a lot more live content from me, talking about all different kinds of things, So just stay tuned for that and just understand the people who are here. The people who aren't here are going to drift anyways. Like I said, there's nothing you can really do about that. Um, it is what it is, but it's analytics, and it's something I know. It's not just the fact that there's so many people out there doing it now, old time radio, but there does reach a point where I've reached my limit with and I can always mix things up and, like I said, surprise streams, but I've played everything, I could play for this channel. Can I put all Jack Benny up on here? Every now and then I'll throw a daytime, for like I did the other day, just for something different. I mean, that's not going to hurt anything, but I don't want to throw the analytics off for other things on the channel. But then you get other channels who are just starting and they're building a community and it's like they're starting over. So it's like there is a group of people who are going to there and just, I'm going to start off fresh with a new channel and just go through and I get it. I totally understand. It is what it is. So anyways, that's all I had to say. Graham, hey bud, for this portion of the show, can you do NYPD Blue, please? Whoa, Graham, NYPD Blue. That's something maybe if Dave liked to talk about. I don't think I could do NYPD. Listen, Saturdays are going to be for like Night Gallery, Outer Limits, horror, sci-fi stuff. That's going to be completely what I'm going to talk about on Saturday nights. An occasional trivia night or something like that might bring Paul Hamm out of the woodwork. But yeah, no, I'm not going to talk NYPD Blue. I love you, Graham. I know you've been around a while too, but yeah, I'm not going to talk about that. The only person I talk to about stuff other than horror, sci-fi, or paranormal is Dave. We hit different topics and stuff like that. When it comes to stuff like that, yeah, I mean, you're not going to get it from me. I'm really working hard on the paranormal shows starting up like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and then giving me Thursdays and Fridays kind of off to catch up, and then Saturdays and Sundays, so that's kind of what I'm thinking of here in the near future. But yeah, let me I know there's nothing posted now. I think it's going to be a Bob Bailey night, Johnny Dollar, Bob Bailey, something like that. Listen, he did a lot of shows. You even have John Lund, Edmund O'Brien. So there's a lot there. So mixing that up every now and then. I think tonight that's what it'll be, a surprise kind of Bob Bailey, Johnny Dollar kind of night. I'm going to get that together real quick here, finish that up, get that up there. But before we leave, yes, one more last time. Please, I'm going to put them up here. Satemkia, Falling Trees. Let's see. Even if I don't speak much, I love and need my OTR late horror family. Just being well. That's why I said I'm always going to try to put something up. If I miss a night, I am sorry. I will be back up the next night. Please believe that. But Satemkia, Falling Tree. Everybody needs to just shoot him a big bright light right now. I close my eyes because that's what I'm doing. Send him a bunch of energy, some prayers. Throw them in your prayers tonight. I know that the infection is going to heal up and the clots are going to subside, Satemkia. They are. You're having a rough go at it and you need a little bit of extra boost and some energy. And everybody just shoot some shining light at him right now. Just shoot it. Boom, 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 boom. You should be glowing a bit, Satemkia, right now. You should be glowing a little bit. You should feel that. A little bit of warmth around your face, just a little bit. You should feel something, Satemkia. I really do believe that. Please do that tonight, you guys, for him. Much love to you. Everything will be okay. I will see you in the chats. Submittal Bay. Hello. Good to see you. I'm getting ready to leave. It's ending time on the Late Horror Show. So I will see you guys overnight. I wish I could stay longer in the chats. I am always doing stuff right here. Get a picture of this. Here's the screen. overnight stream is there. I'm watching the chat all night long or until I can stay up. I'm watching the chat, but I'm here doing my thing. I'm putting together stuff. Like, I'd like to show you this real quick because this is the new thing from Funhole that I'm building. And I just need to do the roof. It's a steampunk flying club. This is it. It's a steampunk flying club. And with the roof that I got to finish off with 2 more bags, it'll be done. This will be a video up on, and you can even turn this. Let me see if I can do that. You turn this and it turns the fan that's in the side of the wall. And then it's tons of stuff on the inside. So if you like stuff like this or looking inside of stuff, the rooms with the furniture and the steampunk stuff, check out Dino Brookhaven, my other YouTube channel where it's Legos, it's all kinds of stuff like that. Really cool, fun stuff. Go check it out, subscribe, and see what the videos are about. If you don't like it, you don't like it. Bloody hell, Dino, totally love it. Oh yeah, no, there's a lot of steampunk stuff coming. So I need to build a steampunk city too, is what I need to do. Okay, enough, enough. Much love, Satemkia. I'm leaving with that. There's a steampunk pub, cafe, restaurant in Universal City Walk now. Oh, Submittal Bay. Sounds so cool. Oh yeah, I feel it. Pronoun is she. Satemkia, I knew that. I'm sorry. Yes, she, Satemkia, Falling Tree, told me that a long time ago. Somebody else did too. I can't remember. I haven't seen her in a long time. But yes. I'm glad you feel it because we all should be shooting some light and energy. And we are all connected here, man. We are all connected in this universe. The energy flows from this straw to this cup, to me, to the table, to the earth, to you in a matter of a second. Quicker than that. Time is irrelevant. So the love that we send and the energy we give and the light shows that it is energy, and the thought of love sends it to you and heals you. And yes. And sorry, Satemkia. You know I know what I'm saying, but it's funny. Same thing with cats. If I got a male cat, I call it she. If I have a female cat, I call it a he. Same with dogs. I've got some kind of dyslexic thing going on. I don't know. Thank you, Connie. There's the channel. Please hit that as I end this show. Please hit that link and go over there and subscribe and check out some stuff, please. And I'm setting it up. Stairpike, cheerio, Maderios. You came in at the end here, but I have to get going and set up the overnights tonight as I sip some ginger ale and leave. Everybody think of Satemkia Falling Tree.